Okay, so we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meshery Development Call. Today is January 10th, and this is a specific call where we would be discussing different enhancements and updates related to different areas of Meshery. If you don't know, Meshery is a CNCF project which helps you manage your Kubernetes clusters, your cloud native applications across multiple environments in a collaborative way. So before moving forward, we have a couple of agenda items. Let's ensure that you add your names in the meeting minutes. It's already shared in the meeting chat. And the second thing is, let's ensure that the newcomers feel at home and they're given a chance to introduce themselves. So, Sahil, are you new on this call?
Hello,
Sagvekar?
Pranav.
Yep. Would you like to
Yeah,
introduce?
yeah. This is my first time joining this call. I'm Sahil. I'm a third year college student, undergraduate. I'm pursuing my bachelor's in information technology. Recently, I've been exploring various DevOps technologies, and I've recently started learning Kubernetes.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks for your introduction. Um, Next, I think Aditya. Um,
Hey,
yes.
I'm audible, yeah.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, hello, I am Aditya, and I am a I'm currently working as a DevOps engineer for a company, and I am very interested in open source contribution. So I thought, why not join here? So yeah, that's about it.
So, like, did you get a chance to run Meshery locally and experience it?
No, actually, I just gone through the projects. So the link I got from uh,
Okay.
the the mail, so I gone through it. Yeah, I'll be installing this weekend.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rudraksh Gupta, are you also new?
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, I am currently exploring the DevOps things, and I am currently studied BCA third year, and know a little bit of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and now exploring about open source culture and how to contribute, and about GitHub and Git repositories and collaborations.
Okay, that's cool. So we'll ensure that you get a chance, you get your hands on some issues. So we'll see if we can get them assigned to you. Next, Ayush, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Ayush. I recently completed my master's in computer application in 2023, and currently I'm working as a trainee software engineer in multinational company, and I'm like looking forward to collaborate in Meshery.
Okay.
That's
So,
all.
okay. Um, Thank you. I think next is Aditi Singh. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, myself Aditi Singh. Uh, uh, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm in my final year and will be doing my internship as a machine learning engineer from 15th of Jan. And I'm looking forward to contribute in next week course.
That's amazing. I think we have more people joining. So, Saurya Gupta, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Shaurya. So currently in my final year and currently exploring Meshery.io project, and I've been assigned a couple of like one issue for now, so just working around that. So yeah.
Okay. Um, I think Reddit. Um, are you also joining for the first time? Apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Reddit Tadesi.
Hi. No, this is my second time, but it's been quite some time since I joined. Yeah, this is my second time.
So would you like to introduce yourself? Okay. I think we have one.
Yeah. Actually, hey, so for those that have introduced, this is great, by the way, getting to know a bunch of people. Hopefully there'll be a third time for all of you, or at least a second time as it is for, well, is it, Radiat? How do you pronounce your first name? Yeah. Tedesi, how do you pronounce your first name? Well, you scared them off, Pranav. Oh no, I'm just kidding. Are they with us anymore? Oh no, they must have just
No.
lost.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, hey, so for those of you, so there's other people that probably have yet to introduce, and we'll get there. I just wanted to interject that while we're waiting for others to introduce, those that have, make sure that you add your name to the attendees list. Drop it on in. Like you can do it now even. So yeah, please add your name. Also, if you have a webcam, which I'm assuming if you have a computer made after 2015, you probably do have a webcam. Turn it on. Join the meeting. Be present. If you, yeah, Pranav will tell you it doesn't really matter if you brushed your hair or not, or if you're even have brushed your teeth. It doesn't matter. Good. Well, hey, it's a new year. We've got some new faces. So this is great. It's a great time to join the project. We're going to talk about the roadmap. We've got a number of maintainers on the call right now. So a lot of people to meet as well. A lot of projects and different aspects to the projects to get familiar with. So I think we're going to have a blowout newcomers meeting tomorrow, which would be great because it gives an overview of it slows things way down and gives an overview of each of the projects. There's a bunch of projects, a bunch of different tech. It's atypical for someone that comes here to find that they don't have a home, or that they don't find something interesting, or they don't see where they fit in. Like, and if that happens, call it out, because that's the goal is the opposite of that. Well, good. So I was just asking Radiat or Tedesi, how do you pronounce your first name?
So it's red 8,
Radit.
like the color red and the number 8. Red 8. Yeah.
Ready. Ready.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no, I want to just say red 8, like you said. Like,
Hello?
That's red 8. Is that right? Boy.
Hello?
All right.
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you.
hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yes, we can. This is
Hello?
me nodding. Yeah. Hello? Can anyone hear
Hello?
me? Oh no, now I'm concerned. Pranav, can you hear me? Is Pranav frozen? Oh man.
Yes, Lee, we can hear you actually. I think Pranav is froze.
Yeah, I think Pranav is froze.
Okay. Yeah, I always end up, I've got the worst luck. I always end up with a stupid look on my face, frozen. I think that's because I make stupid looks. And so that's the problem. Good. Hey, who else is new on today's call and hasn't had a chance to say hi? So Red 8, you've been on the call before, but it's been a while. Do you want to say hi again? Do you want to just say where you're calling in from and what your mother's name is and your cat's name, how long you've had it? Anything that's relevant to the call would be great. All right. So see, is it Cesar, or it's not, or in more of like a an American mispronunciation? Is it Caesar?
Yeah. It's both, either or, Caesar or Cesar. Usually I default parameter it to Caesar just because um, a lot of people like to try to pronounce Cesar, but then end up butchering it. And I'd rather just Caesar is very easy, and I've been called Caesar my entire life. So yeah, I'll introduce myself as well. But Caesar here, I'm actually calling from Chicago, Illinois, and I this is my first Meshery development meeting. I haven't made it to the newcomers one yet. It's 7 o'clock here in Central Time, so in the morning, so it's a little tough, but I will try to make it tomorrow. And yeah, I kind of just I've had a couple uh tickets already with the website, adding different news articles, which has been great just to kind of get a nice little overview of the kind of like issue cycle. And yeah, I kind of just want to delve more into the community, join more meetings, become slowly but surely become a long-term kind of contributor. So yeah, so this is the beginning of my journey, hopefully.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Cesar, I like how you just, hey, look, if people are going to butcher it, I'm just going to take control. I'll just introduce myself as as Caesar, and then then it feels okay. It doesn't feel like it's being butchered. That's great.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if you wince when I enunciate it, I'll just go back to, I'll stop trying. But one thing that Cesar said was, well, there's something of a mantra around here. It's like, hey, the smaller that you start, as a contributor with whatever contribution you're making, well, it's like the higher probability that you're going to be successful, both short term and long term. It's short term if you contribute by way of sending out a tweet about the project, which, by the way, that counts in our book as a contribution. Like if you contribute just by attending a meeting and that's it, and just listening, like, hey, that you're here, you're participating, that's great. Yeah, so the smaller you start, the more successful you'll just be super successful with super small things, and that will just build and build and build. And Pranav is hosting today's meeting, and he's got a very similar story about how small he started. You should ask him. You should ask him to write a blog post about it, actually. That would be good. Well, good. Well, gosh, we're about 15 minutes in. There's a couple of folks that haven't gotten to say hi just yet. So if you don't mind, if you all would sound off in the chat, that'd be nice. It'd be nice to get to know you, get acquainted. We should probably push forth, though, with some of the agenda so we can try to make it through. So yeah, so again, if you're new, say hi. It isn't just technology and code and things like that, but it's the people that is in part why you're here. Don't undervalue those relationships. Good. Okay, is Pranav back with us?
Yes.
All right. And Ritik, I think you've got an announcement here as well. Ritik, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so like we just talk about the contribution as how small you can make. So one of the contribution you can make is starting the Meshery repository. And one more thing, like our Meshery project recently crossed 4,200 stars on GitHub. So this is what a great start of the year looks like. So make sure you all, if you are new, so make sure you also start a Meshery project and ask your friends and friends of friends to start the Meshery repository. So in this way, like you can help our project grow, and we will help you to grow in your life as well. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't started the project, I don't know what you're doing on this call. I mean, just to put it out there bluntly. Here, let me help you. Go to this URL. Scroll on down. You will become, well, potentially you'll be slightly famous. some of you are aware that there's a lot that we do in terms of automation within the project. And around the community, one of those things is with inside of Slack. And this is probably hard to read, so I'll blow it up. But if you end up starring the project, well, you'll get your name over here. And so Pranav, Mr. Prakash, thank you very much. We're just going to stand here, sit on this page, and we're going to call out everyone individually and thank them. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, just kidding. It's very helpful to the project. Does anybody list off a reason as to why these silly stars matter? Or does anyone want to list off a reason why maybe they don't matter? Or does anyone want to just be quiet and not have to speak up? Do you see this right here? Do you see what happened right here? This is how popular the project is. It literally went backwards. It went vertical and then like backwards. I'm just kidding. I guess that's probably not. That's probably just vertical.
It's so popular it went back in time.
Yeah. Anyway, enough. I guess enough on the stars. The deal is, hey, if you're going to go, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that stars matter and that they don't at all. But one of the ways in which they matter is like, well, hey, is this a real thing? Do people use it? Are people working on it? So one of the ways you could just get a sense of that is like, there's one indicator. Well, good. Well, thanks for that, Ritik. By the way, who's this right here, Ritik?
It's a mascot 5. So.
Oh, nice. I see he's got his rocket ship is tattooed with some project logos. That's cool. That's awesome. The guy's sporting a green tie too, man. The guy's got some class. All right. Well, Pranav, are we into our topics now? Should I? Yeah.
Yes. So the first item is from Sonali on My Designs page. Sonali, would you like to discuss?
Sure. So in Meshery Cloud Extension, we have a separate page for my designs now. So this page shows all the design of the user. So it has some visibility level as a filter as well. So user can filter their designs from the filter as well. Like previously, we have the same thing in my profile page. Here, this something similar now we have in the design page as well. So here we have some ability like search, filtering, those things.
Nice. Curious, does the same thing happen with filters then? So if people bring their own WebAssembly filters for Envoy, how does that work?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there is an issue in that filter, but here I fixed the issue. Yeah. So I can look into this as well. These things are like front-end side filtering. So, but here I implement it using the backend thing. So there's no issue in here. So I can implement same thing in here as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. Are you saying the filters then sounds like it would change into my filters? So it would just be, this is going to sound a little weird when I say it, but it would be, if you change it to my filters, they would be a predefined view or a predefined filter that only shows the user their WebAssembly Envoy filters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can add something similar to that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Is Yash Sharma on the call? Is that the plan? Is that what? guess I think he's trying to fix a bug right now. Okay. Pranav, do you know, is there a plan for?
Yes, actually, we have already discussed that both filters and design should be having my, because we are currently just filtering, just showing the designs which are owned by the signed in user. If they want to see the catalog item, then they can go to the other tab. What's
Oh, okay. Then here
both should
also
be yeah,
my filters. Okay.
symmetric.
Mm. I can implement that as.
Anybody has any questions for Sonali? Okay, so
Oh, who's next?
okay, so uh, I think next item is from me, so I can share my screen. So like my changes are basically about a new feature in Meshery, which actually adds a functionality wherein hopefully my screen is visible, which adds a functionality wherein we can import as well as export designs and as OCI artifacts. So just in a little bit of context, OCI artifacts are like industry standard of sharing content. It could be of any type. So currently we would be compressing our designs in a TARZ format based on OCI image spec, and there are a couple of specs in OCI: image spec, distribution spec, and runtime spec. Currently, we are just focusing on image spec because we just want to create a small image which we can share between different registries. Currently, just like importing and exporting, but in future we can like push it to a registry and it should work. So yes, so basically what it means currently is like when you want to export a design, let's say if I just want to download this design, and there would be so basically there would be an option to like you want to download the original design, your current design, or in an OCI format. And basically what it will do is it will ask for a directory where it can store this artifact, and then that's it. So let's say I think my UI crashed. Just 1 second. So I can show it from here. So let's say basically there's a new parameter in the downloads pattern, and
Cool. Hey, does anybody know what an OCI image is? And maybe beyond that, why it is that somebody would want to download this as an OCI image? Hussein is dying to tell us. I could tell. Hussein, any just like what, I'll put you on the spot if I can. Like, what's an OCI image? Have you bumped into those before?
Open container image format or something.
Yeah. Oh, you nailed it. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Anybody have anything to add to that? Why is there such a thing?
so that same artifacts can be stored and shared among different people who use different registries but want to use the same kind of technology.
Huh. Okay. Say a little bit more.
Basically, like if you want to share a specific content between different people, but each of them should have a same specification so that there are no misunderstandings. So for that, there is standard of OCI so that people can share the content among themselves.
Is it for running the same image among multiple container engines?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. So Husaina nailed it, and Sahil nailed it. Pranav did as well. Yeah, if you were to step back and not talk about OCI specifically, if you were just to say, hey, I've got a file, it has a particular format, everyone's computer that goes to interpret that file format should have a program that understands that format, JPEG or PNG or PDF or whatever it is. And so in this case, it's OCI. So like Hussein has said, open container image format. There's a OCI Foundation or Open Containers Foundation. They have a couple of specifications. One specification is about the image format itself, the spec. Anyway, most of the container, so just like Sahil said, any of the container registries that you might use, there's one inside the CNCF, a project called Harbor, or maybe you use Docker Hub or AWS ECR or GCP's GCR, or GitHub has an OCI compatible registry as well, and JFrog has Artifactory, and there's tons. Well, the thing is like it's a file format. You don't have to put containers inside of it, even though it's open container image you don't have to actually put a container inside. So what Pranav is doing here is he's taking any of these designs that people create where you're describing your infrastructure. And a lot of times, it's YAML, right? You're describing your infrastructure in a Kubernetes manifest or in a Helm chart or whatever, the Kubernetes policy, and he's making it such, and as you go to design these, the YAML can get quite long. They're quite descriptive, especially how Meshery will visually interpret them and put things on particular locations on the graph and have these relationships and these colors and these images, and it goes on for a while. And these container registries or these OCI compatible registries are abound, right? There's lots of them. It's easy to push and pull from them, and many pipelines and many build systems have, and many of the developer or engineering workflows include pushing and pulling from a registry. And so in the same way, with the work that Pranav is doing, and this is part of the upcoming, we're at the start of the V08 release for Meshery. So this will be a feature inside that release. And so Pranav's got an early start on making these designs a bit more portable. There's some interesting characteristics that come along with packaging a design that's really just YAML, but packaging a design inside of such a format is at some point there's any number of interesting characteristics to this, and maybe I'll hold off on describing those. Maybe we'll describe them and what's possible with them and what we might want to do based on the fact that designs are importable and exportable as OCI images. I'll put that as an agenda item for next time so that everyone doesn't have to listen to me go on about it, but some cool things that could be done. Pranav, on this topic, so great. So the form looks like you've exported. It exports as a tar-GZ or a tar.
Yes, tar file. Like if I try to import it, so what internally will happen is that first we'll assume that it's a OCI format. We are not specifying in the API whether it's OCI or not. So it actually validates whether it's in the correct OCI format. If it is, then it try to decompress it and then save it as a design. If it's not, if it fails anywhere, then it reverts back to just assuming it's a YAML file, and then it saves it. So basically our design can be either in a YAML file now or in an OCI artifact. So that's the thing. And like internally, we just use our .meshery folder to do any scratch work, like saving a file, converting into target. So that's the internal stuff. And, like there's some UI issue to do it. Like I'm not able to download it, but yeah, like I just converted it. Like I had already had a target file. I just imported it as a design. So I'll just fix the UI issue. Anybody has any questions? One advantage of this feature is like later on we can also do the same thing for models. So you can actually just create your own models and then share it with other by like extracting it into an OCI format, and then someone else can import it in their Meshery and use the same integrations which you are using or which you built. So okay, so that's from my side.
Any other thoughts from anybody? Any questions on this? So Pranav, there are plans for OCI support of designs like you just showed? Is there plans for anything else using OCI?
Yes, like I was just discussing, we would be using the same technology for
Sorry,
models.
I totally missed that. I'm sorry. I totally missed it. Yeah, I don't mean to make you repeat it then. Never mind. Great.
So Lee, you just talked about that we were going to take this up as an agenda for the next meeting, exporting OCI images. So when would that be? Would it be tomorrow for the newcomers meeting?
Probably
Because I would like to hear more about it.
Oh, nice. I did my job. I sank the hook. Good. Next Wednesday in 1 week.
Got it.
But I got to tell you, like my attention span, well, you just saw it. It was pretty short. So yeah, help me remember if you would. I mean, that'd be great. I'd love to explain it. There's some cool things to do.
Sure. I'll make sure to remind about it in the next one.
All right.
So next up is Yash on fix for castles and authorization using castle. Yash Sharma.
Yeah, sure. Let me share the screen.
Okay.
Great. So last week we implemented the castle in the Meshery UI. There was few issues was coming during when you load UI and you are unauthorized splash was coming. So I forgot to there was two component mainly in which it was coming, the environment and this connection space. And configuration and other pages was not coming because these are the components which were not have the loading thing. That's why. But right now I fixed that, and yeah, those things are also. But there was one issue more, one more issue is that when you update the organization in from your preferences, this component was not updating. The reason was that it was not like subscribed to the changes to the castle abilities. That's why the changes were not reflecting over here, but I changed that too. Yeah, it would be nice in future if we use the RTK. That would help us. That would if we were using the RTK, it was not cause the issue. It would help us to make sure that we are subscribing to the states properly. And but this particular component is uh, built on the with the class component. So after migration to the RTK, this will help more. So yeah, small fixes. Yeah, this is fixed. It might be helpful if you guys can review it and let me know if there is an issue. Otherwise, deleted my all orgs. Any question on this?
So this was a topic last Wednesday as well. I think we talked about this JavaScript framework, Castle, and what its purpose was, how we were using it. Does anybody other than Yash recall what that is? For the benefit of everyone else? Well, good. Hey, there's a suggestion that maybe tomorrow in the newcomers meeting, that maybe the second half of the meeting be about how to contribute to Meshery UI. If that happens, that would probably be because Yash is there providing that instruction. That would be a good time to explain what Castle is and why we're using it. It's just a small
Yeah, sure.
component of nice.
Sure. I will quickly re-explain that. So for me, I will quickly re-explain that. If you get or more question, you can like watch the previous meeting. I explained in that very well. So what actually happens over here is that like Kaza helps us to manage which person gets what access. So let's say if you have in your organization, so if you, for example, if you sign up to the Meshery, you will create your own organization in which you might be your org admin, or you might be invited by someone and you will get assigned any role. Let's say you are the org admin. So if you are the org admin, most of the things you can do in this Meshery UI. And for example, if you are only allowed to, if you are the org admin and if someone is invited to your organization in some of work in your organization, so you can assign any role to that person. Let's say if you say that, hey, that person can only view all the designs that are in my organization, but cannot deploy in my cluster. So Castle help us to make sure in the UI that if that person is only allowed to view the designs, not to deploy the designs, Castle will disable the deploy button and user will not be able to deploy the design, only view the design. So this helps us to make sure that in your organization, whoever is working is getting access to what they are meant to be. And yeah, so in a small overview, this is, and if you want to customize all the roles and if you want to see how that works and keychain and keys works, what you can do is that there's an already and good implementation is happen over here. So you can go to the Meshery cloud and you can sign up with your account and you can view like you can switch to your organization. Let's say this is my organization and in this organization, I'm the organization admin. So I can assign roles to other person. Let's say this was me, so I can assign a new role to that person, and on the basis of that, he might be able to get access to the Meshery, whatever you want to assign to them. I hope this clears. If you have any doubt, you can ask. I hope I am audible.
Yeah, you totally are. Yeah. We're just letting that awkward silence sit there for a moment in case there's a brave soul out there that wants to try to digest it and repeat it back to you. Ahmed, I wonder if you've had a chance to digest this at all. Just the purpose of it is all.
I'm sorry, Yash, you kind of lost me on the castle part and then the organization part, which it's my fault, but I completely lost what the purpose of castle and the organization, how they were connected in your explanation. If you were to maybe repeat that portion, I might be able to understand the overall gist of what you just said.
Okay, no problem. So try to understand in a simple ways that let's say we all are in this Zoom meeting and hosts have the permission to invite someone to this meeting, maybe mute someone in this meeting. and he can that person host can be decide what is going in this meeting, like if the participants are allowed to share the screen or not. Same way, we Mishri have the organization concept, which you can read on the documentation if you want to understand more. And if you are admin in that organization, let's say, for example, same as a host in the Zoom meeting, you can decide in your organization which person gets what access. So if you want to make sure that, let's say I'm the user in your organization, or let's say I'm the team member working in your organization, in your company, and you can say that, hey, Yash have a good ability to review things, but he should not be have the access of deploying things because he might cause an issue. So so what you can do is that you can assign me the permission to only deploy, to only view the designs. Let's say these are the designs that I can only view.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, I don't. Pranav,
Bummer.
why did you kick off Yash, Pranav? Why
Yeah,
did you...
let's blame it on Pranav and not bandwidth issues.
Yeah,
No,
not
I didn't
DNS.
even.
And you got him so excited. I think he hit the... Yeah, anyway. Yeah, good. I don't know if any of that's making sense to the rest of you. If I don't know that I can help myself, but maybe I'll offer just the an alternative perspective, or just sort of the briefest of explanations. And I'll do it using the playground that's out there. So, yep. So right now, there's a bug or two with the implementation that we have. Using that, it's just a JavaScript framework, some acronym CASL. I don't even know what it stands for, but it's primarily built for purposes of authorization. Should a user be able to make a comment on a post? Should a user be able to manage the post? Well, if it's me, if I wrote the post, like, so great. So it's primarily written in context of like permissions. Can this, of authorization, can a user do a thing? And actually right now, I don't know if you can all tell, but this is grayed out, and my mouse pointer is an arrow, not a click. So this area is inaccessible to me, to this user. So yeah, so that's the framework in action. Largely, the initial goal for the use of this framework has been to go to each individual button for each individual hyperlink, or like each area of interactivity in the UI. And I think I have a bad session. I don't think I actually. And well, first of all, we have to get rid of this terribly off-putting message. But is to put a small permission key behind, in the source of the UI, a permission key, just a UUID, so just some unique identifier on each and every hyperlink, and just so that there are hooks, or so that there are keys in there that that if you so desire to assign users permissions to specific, functionality, that you can, that like the groundwork for that has been laid down. Lots and lots of permission keys generated for all the different, buttons or hyperlinks, each permission key assigned. And then largely when people go to use Meshery, then their user accounts and their roles can be assigned various permissions. And that's the, that's the gist of it, or that's what we were going for. And then there's some nuances beyond that, but like for some of you, if you're thinking about it a little bit, and I've said this in the past, if you define permissions client side, so in the front end here, Are you able to, are there any caveats to that? If you think about it for a minute, is there any danger in that approach? Okay, well, maybe that's another lesson for another time. Yes, there is. Like, hey, you're just fooling yourself if you think you can, lock down the system client side. No, you can't. Anyway, so we're not using it for we're using it in context of authorization, but not really for enforcement. There's a slight difference between those terms. And anyway, there's lots of blog posts that we need to go write about some of this stuff. So good. So anybody else have comments? Castle? We've got about 10 minutes left. It's for user experience. That's what Pranav is saying. Pranav is saying that we're using it for user experience. Well, that seems weird. That only makes me have more questions. But he's right. It's kind of weird. We're using it in the way in which it was intended. Which is, they should have called it a UX. For UX is what they should have called. Anyway, hey, it's my turn to talk.
Could be marketing.
Yeah. I mean, it's highly, it would be weird. It would be confusing to everyone if they had called it a UX, a user experience thing, but like, we'll have to give some examples of that later. There's a couple of things. So there's an email that will go out a little bit later today that talks about the roadmap. So hopefully some of you have noticed that there was a decent sized Meshery release that was just made at the end of the year. Jeremiah and Pranav and Hawa wrote up or attempted to write up all the things that went into that release. And they did a great job, but I know they've missed any number of things. And that's just because it was a massive release. They did a great job. There's a lot out here that it's worth going through and kind of digesting what some of the newer features in Meshery are. There's an awesome notification center now, very helpful. Coming right off of that release, well, it's time to get this one up and going and to define what that looks like, to shape it up. So we've been talking about this any number of the last times that we've been meeting and asking all of you to think about it, to digest some things. If you think that there's an area that is of interest, to signal, potentially to get your name up on here as someone to take it on and drive it forward. There are, for each of the line items in this plan, there ultimately or essentially should be a design specification associated with it. So something of a written document that says, here's what we're trying to do, and here's why. And don't let this scare you off. If you're new here, you'd have to be helped in this regard anyway. And so we go through reviews, and so hopefully Shin Hong of Intel, he has signed up for that particular area. Let me go back. Anyway, the gist of it is we've got this about in shape right now, and it's pretty much it's close to a final draft. I'm sure that as we get going hot and heavy, that any number of these things will change, or we'll learn new things, but this is sort of the shape of it right now, what it looks like. Come in, ask questions, make comments. If you're relatively new here, or even if you've been here a long time, but you've only been focused in a particular area, well, this is such a great deck to spend time in, the architecture deck. You don't have to grasp the lower level concepts, but just just the pictures themselves. For me, pictures really help. and there's a lot of lines and things going on in something like this, but like, if there are questions, like this makes for a great discussion forum topic. So, which is a community resource out here. So like, go ask questions. And the thing is like, please ask them out here so that others can learn. Because when we answer them in Slack, they get lost after a while. This discussion that we just had about Castle, there are design specs on it and things. Like we should have a simple explanation for it out here. I don't know if anyone has asked just yet. I think we did. But so go look, go search, see if it's out there. Does anybody have any comments on the roadmap? Trying to find it again.
I'll definitely be checking out the roadmap for the next release. That looks like a helpful document.
Yeah.
Is there room for improvement? How can we contribute, even if we're new? If if there's anything to be improved within the roadmap, how can we add to it?
Yeah, there are. Well, there's a few different things. There's any number. I'm trying to find an example. There's any number of stretch goals defined in here that. So if you have a suggestion, maybe it would land on here as a stretch goal. That doesn't really answer your question. That's sort of part of the mechanics of like, if you have a good idea, please bring it forth. And maybe that ends up as a stretch goal in this release, or maybe something that we're committed to, or maybe it goes into the next one. One of the better ways for any of us to identify, the best way for us to identify the new feature is to understand the vision of like the larger vision of the project, which is quite sprawling actually. But then it's to like go use it, go use the software, and if it does something that you struggle with, or if it doesn't do something that you think would be helpful, that's generally, those are good signals that like, oh, hey, maybe that should be on the roadmap, or maybe those are things that we should change or improve upon. Just like very simple examples are like, if you go to use the command line client, Meshery CTL, some of those commands are quite well done and very well used. And some of them don't give such a great response back as you attempt to use it and you're trying to figure out what the right parameters are and things. Like, and so to the extent that there's any confusion as you go to use a command, like boom, there's a great example of you're probably right. It probably can be improved. Yeah. Spending time with it, just in one particular area as you go to use it. Yeah, strike up a conversation with the individuals whose names that you see next to something that you're intrigued by and want to know more about. That just like even for Sandra, who is asking that question, Sandra, if you give consideration to this for a moment, the notion that that maybe we would create some tutorials for how to use some of the cloud native tech, the integrations that Meshery
I haven't
has.
forgotten about that issue. It's like the biggest challenge in this project that's facing me. Like, I want to contribute to it, but I feel like it's I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it needs to be, there's a standard that it needs to be, and my standard, because I'm still in the learning phase of it, I want to make sure that it meets that standard once it's complete. And I'm not sure if I'm able to do that at the moment. This could just be me overthinking it and talking myself out of it.
Yeah, no,
but I wanted to, I envision it being a high quality type of end PR or solution.
Yeah, that's in part why you get suggested to be one of the ones to work on it.
Oh, I'm gonna mute now.
What I was trying to highlight is that to answer your question about like, oh, hey, where is it that we might make suggestions, or how would we know if a particular area needed improvement, or if there was, and one of the things I was just using as an example is like, well, hey, as a project, we want to have tutorials about how to use Meshery, and part of how to use Meshery is like, oh, how to use Prometheus, or how to use Jaeger, or how to use etcd, or any of the 200 plus integrations that Meshery has. Is like, oh, there's any number of you could come over and make a suggestion about having another tutorial. The tutorials can be quite focused just on a specific item. So here, the tutorial is exploring Kubernetes cron jobs with Meshery. And there's a bunch of instruction given. And what's in here is the lab, the task to do. Half of it is done. Maybe 60% of it is done. You take this, copy and paste it into a pull request. But what you do is there's suggestions for how this can be improved and where to enhance it. So the ask, or the definition of like what to create, has gotten a whole lot better than it was before, Sandra. And actually, in this case, it's not a full learning path with like multiple courses that have multiple chapters with multiple labs and stuff. Actually, it's just that very end piece, just a single lab, like on cron jobs or deployment. And so for any of you that are on the call and are into this, are into DevOps, or into writing a tutorial, these would end up showing up first in Meshery docs. And so if you need an excuse to learn more about Prometheus, or more about, why does Prometheus always come to mind? More about any of the integrations that Meshery has, like here's a great way to help yourself go learn about the GitLab and its controllers, and how you define workflows in GitLab, or whatever that integration is. There's a lot of them. Okay, good. Anyway, right at the top of the hour, we've gotten this semi-solid. We'll send it out. Please make comments and review. And Aditya is with us, right? Alpha X86, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Nice. Aditya, just specifically on one of the areas that you're the theme champion for, you're bringing forth a few new Meshery CTL commands. We would do well to have a design spec on them. It doesn't have to be its own separate doc, but a spec mostly for identifying what parameters, if any, are available, what the expected output might be, like the format of that output. Those are things that you've done in the past, right? You've been.
Yes, I did.
Nice. Okay. Oh, good. Well, if you put in a little bit of work on that, by the next time that we meet, your design spec, or where you're augmenting the existing Meshery CTL design spec, might make for a great example for everyone else. So.
Yeah, understood. But wanted to ask one question. But what about the components command? I get Ripple has already opened a PR regarding this, and he's supposed to show a demo today. But I guess the time's up.
Yeah. So what's your question then? Like, so do you want the demo?
No, I'm not asking a demo. Like, you said to create a design spec. Yes, that's fine. Except for the components command, or including that as well. That's what I meant.
Yeah, including it so that they can be consistent. Like I think Zaki, another contributor, he has already landed an experimental one as well. It's to like pull them together, to step back and reflect, pull them together. Maybe that shouldn't be called Meshery CTL models. Maybe it should be something else, or maybe it should go under system or yep. That'd be really helpful to pull them together, make them consistent in terms of their behavior. There's one existing like large design spec that I know you've spent a lot of time in for Meshery CTL. That's a great one to just expand upon. And maybe it's a good one for us to call out here. So there's individual design spec, like for Meshery CTL specifically, here's an individual design spec for this particular command. And so the spec is about 5 pages long or something, or, talks about what the purpose for it and what people would do with it. And so what the expected, what this user experience would be like. And then here's this one, which I think is sort of the overarching design spec that goes on for a long time, but provides people other than Aditya a bunch of great insight and context for why the commands are designed in certain ways. And so I'll paste this into the Zoom chat now. So if you're into Golang, this is a great, Meshery CTL is a great place to jump in, a lot easier to jump into than Meshery Server or the adapters. And Aditya and Husaina, who are both on the call, they're two individuals that you'd want to get to know. So, Rapul, you don't happen to have a demo today, do you?
I'm good with it if time permits.
Yeah, hit it real fast. You got it?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
And we are over time, so if you're on the call and you need to go, thanks for coming. But if you've got time, check out Rapul's demo.
Is my screen visible?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So there are 3 subcommands for the component command. The one is the list. It will list all the components that are in the first page. So there is a flag, we are using the page one. And the other one is view command. In here we can view any kind of component that is being in use. Like for example, if there are multiple versions for a particular component, we have to just hover down and enter, and for that particular, the JSON formatted file will be available to us that will represent the schema for that particular component. And the last command that we have is the search command. This will give the output like the model. It will search for a particular model name. All those models that are having a particular name will come here in this command. Am I audible?
I think
Yeah,
regarding
you are.
pagination, if you can confirm if that using a flag is better, because I think earlier we discussed having an extended list which like shows the user infinitely.
Yeah, it is already there. Wait a second. So for that purpose, you don't have to use a flag, but that command is taking a bit time because there are multiple number of components present. It will take a bit of time. Let it give.
A bit of time to execute and return.
Yeah.
Okay.
Near around 20 to 25 seconds, I guess.
Yep, but that shouldn't be, the client should be only retrieving.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, the client, we're going to want to paginate this. The client should only retrieve a certain set at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that actually, to Aditya's, like to the point of the design spec, is like Okay, but we might also want to have a parameter that allows the user to retrieve them all in one shot if they want to, just not by default. And so that's a great example of the UX that needs to be designed. And so Aditya, any feedback?
Yeah, I have one query. Ripple, suppose for the search subcommand, say if I type any invalid one, so would it return any error or have you designed for that? Could you show that as well?
Yeah, but like if we go for Villa flow, what Villa, it will skip that. The it won't show any error or something.
Okay, that might need a bit of work.
Okay, for sure. Like some kind of error or trigger warning.
Not warning like a message, say the component the user has typed doesn't exist. Like a message to user, that would work. And
Okay.
also for the pagination thing, what's the default value I've set for
Default value is 1.
default value is 1.
Yeah. Here it is.
Okay. That's a great demo though. But you have shown the output for like using the flag like page 1. So how many items would it return minimum? Like 25 or 30?
Yeah, 25.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My opinion is you need to work on the message for the search subcommand. That's one thing. And second one is the pagination we have to look on. That's it from my side. Other than
Okay.
that, yeah, good job.
Thanks.
Okay, I think thank you, Ripul, for your great demo. So we are
Thank
already
you.
10 after, so I think that's a wrap for today, and thank you all for joining. So we will be meeting tomorrow as well for newcomers meeting as well as for build and release call. And yes, so if either we'll meet you tomorrow there or we'll meet you on the next week on Meshery development call. So thank you all for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.